And yep, Azrael is giving the official cat butt. Hey, there we go. See, for those of you who stop by, I do my best to try and remember. And if I fail, correct me. I'm not gonna. Oh, am I gonna be offended? Milthertany. All right, we're gonna close up the Tome of Foes because what we're gonna be doing, everyone, is we're gonna need our Dungeon Master's guides and perhaps the player's handbook too. Actually, we may need to dip into Volo's. We'll see about that. Well, Mill, it's what I do, right? If you were to come into my store on a frequent basis, I would come and get to know you over time. I would want to, hey, how are things going? And you might talk about work, or you might talk about family, you might talk about a pet, or I'm really looking forward to summer because of whatever. It's a socialization. I love learning about everything that happens in life that you all get to experience. And I know that we had the conversation on how to pronounce your name when you had first stopped by. So, because I want you all to feel welcome. That I will do my best to remember you. Or at least I'll try to. And even if I fail, it means I'm remembering someone else. So I've clearly put in, I'm trying to remember these aspects. Oh, Chris. All right. Be well, my friend. I guess I can kind of see Pigeon in that, or especially if it's a quick glance. But part of this also is developing the reflex to read and reread people's names quickly, as there are people who will show up in your channel that have, if you don't read their name thoroughly, then when you give a shout out, you might end up falling into a trap that was set for you. Yes, Rian. While we do have kind of a spooky image up on screen, the workshop is safe for kids. We're going to be talking about character development. We're going to be talking about filling a world with people who are meaningful to it. Well, if you ever do come by, I'd love to meet you out there. Give the core 3 D&D books. What's a good book to get for actual modules to run? Yeah, Tales of the Yawning Portal has several. I suppose that depends on your comfort level. Are you wanting to do a series of smaller stories? Do you like a particular theme? Do you love the ocean or sailing or naval combat? I could recommend Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Do you love the horror genre? Then pick up Curse of Strahd. That'll take you 1 to 10. Even Tomb of Annihilation can have a lot of horror parts to it. Though that's about if you like Indiana Jones and traps and temples and traipsing through the jungle and encountering thises and that's, then go with Tomb of Horrors. That'll take you 1 to 10 also. Do you love frozen mountain ranges or sort of like Norse mythology? Then go for Storm King's Thunder. If that is something you're comfortable presenting, or you can get into it as a DM because you have the accents that you would need, or if you can envision what's happening as a DM, your delivery, even if you're not delivering, what the module says to deliver, and you're doing your own take on it, your delivery is going to be fantastic, and you're still going to make it your game. So it would really come down to, what type of a game do you want to run? Now, for the workshop here, we're going to go over it. It's not terribly complicated to go and make compelling NPCs for your world. Yeah, hey, you're very welcome,
Many
Spectre.
fall in the face of chaos, but not this one. Not today.
Thank you very much, Rianne, for the host. And Spectre, there are many of us as well. We have a Safe for Work PG-13 Discord. If you wanted to hop in there, we have a mentor network. You can ask questions, and we'll help you. If you have a friendly local game store that has earned your business, you know, I want you to go and, especially in this tough time, go and give that small business your business. And if not, then I would love to earn that ability. And if you're looking for a particular module, then we can make an arrangement, and from my store to your door, we can get it delivered. What is Dungeons and Dragons? It is a communal storytelling game. We could get a lot more complex and nuanced with it. It's a storytelling game. And also, how would you like me to pronounce your name? I'm not sure what you're referencing. So, if I have, then I wasn't aware that's what it's called. BC? Alright. You know, by that, you know, is it, oh, have you ever gotten angry enough you flip the table and reset the game? I've not done that. I've never gotten that angry at a session. Rocket, oh, it's a Rocket League term. And welcome to you, the Big Cheddar. An agent of Chouse. Chaos. You got Chouse, and then don't forget Douse. That's the next level. DHAOS. Power Level is here. Hi, Power Level. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, well, hey, we're getting going here. We're going to be building an NPC. I am in Ohio. Perhaps you've heard of the state here and there. Power Level, thank you for that generous gift to Lightning Dragon. And Lightning Dragon, welcome aboard. You have some fun new emotes. Yeah. Now, Power Level, you have been amazing and generous. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Sound of feasting horn.
Well, Agent, if you want to discuss it, myself and others, I'm sure we can give you feedback on the character. And Chaos, thank you for the follow. Now, tonight's, for the workshop here, I would like to take you through a very easy methodology in creating an NPC that is going to fit into a campaign world that you would want to run as a dungeon master. We're doing, I guess, some meta role-playing where we're taking on the role of a DM that wants to present a story of some kind to our friends or family. And what has happened in the background is those 4 friends or family members have made characters, and we did that last week. We then sat down with the character sheets, and we have examined what the party looks like as a character itself. Its strengths and weaknesses, its opportunities and threats. For any of you that know, that's a SWOT report. And then from there, we went on to a simple exercise using a worksheet to create a setting in which the adventure takes place so that you feel it's connected to the players because it's drawn from the players. When you have a character sheet submitted to you as a DM, you have whole chunks of story that are just waiting for you. And so you don't have to panic. You don't have to stress. And from that information, really, here we go. This is how you make an NPC. Pardon me. Right here. A couple simple steps. And with the knowledge that we developed before, we'll make an NPC that will resonate with one or more of the party members. And we're going to do the same thing and make a villain as well. People need to stay positive and healthy during these times. I absolutely agree, Power Level. This is certainly a time to come together to communicate, even if there is social distance is the buzzword right now. And I love being able to be that foundation as best as I can for you all to find advice, happiness, ventilation. A barbarian black half dragon that hates intelligent life and has expressed that if he met another one of itself. Oh, so is this well, I guess this wouldn't be that sort of philosophy in Buddhism of if you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha, which is to promote do not become attached to worldly things, including the Buddha himself. Is there a particular philosophy, or is that approaching what it is? And then how does this character cope with the fact that that he himself is an intelligent life form and has come from intelligent life forms and may go on to sire intelligent life forms? How does a person like this exist in the world? If you go around as a black dragonborn or a half dragon, April, thank you very much for the follow. And you're just melting everyone on the street for the crime of existing and, having a couple of brain cells to rub together. How do you continue in that world that wouldn't hunt you down or wouldn't, stir some kind of a controversy? And Rin, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And not only a welcome, let's give a shout out. Bada boom. Oh, Rin, you're getting in on the Animal Crossing fad. It's gonna last a while. Animal Crossing is an amazing game. No, Rin, you're fine. Hey, if you got things to do, I mean, from what I remember, I think you were looking at a move at some point in time, and it's you got life. You have a stream. You got your own things that you're doing. For any writing projects that you have going on, I understand. Please do not apologize. I want you to be happy, healthy, and successful. None of those are zero-sum games. We all should strive to be healthy, happy, and successful because there's plenty of it to go around. What we had learned from our characters was that we're playing in, think like Pugmire or Humblewood. We have an anthropomorphic set of races that exist in this world. No humans, no elves. We had Kenku centaurs and turtles, as well as 2 avian races. I think it was actually Avens and Sirens is what we rolled in our setting. And so we have a setting document as well that we went through. And with all these notes, let's go through, and we can go back and access them, but I don't want to make this too cluttered or to make you think if you weren't around for those, oh, I can't do it unless I've seen everything else that's come to this point. Will it help when it comes time for you to do this exercise? Yeah. Do you have to for this broadcast? No. Just go along with us, and if you have inspiration, if you're making a connection in some way,
Sound a feasting horn.
sound a feasting horn. Zen, thank you very much for the follow. Let us know. This is not my NPC, this is our NPC. And so if something inspires you, then let's be inspired together. That's what I was wondering. He would obviously have to be intelligent enough to understand that he can't kill every being. Well, I mean, a disdain for life could just simply be that, he chose to sterilize himself in some capacity, or at least to abstain. He refuses to partake in the creation of new life. As for why he wants to kill others, no, I mean, it's obviously an antisocial thing to do. And if you go into a city, whether it's a farming village or something, and you start killing people, you're going to end up the one being killed very quickly. Whoa, D20 TV. Well, thank y'all for coming by. But ask yourself a deeper question, Chaos. What do you want this character to explore? Is there a philosophy? Is there a phrase? Is there a topic that you would like this character to explore, to find an answer, to find redemption, to find something, even success? I mean, look, as the dungeon master, you play the bad guys. You play the horrible genocidal dictators. You play the diseases. You play death and famine and all these other things that plague and vex people, tear families apart. Pardon? Yeah. Oh, Maple G is in here with the Tomb Raid. Welcome, and Zen. You've been playing D&D for 3 years, but only around 4 weeks ago started DMing and fell madly in love with it. My friends have so far said I'm quite good. Zen, thank you for taking that step and joining the ranks as being a DM. And Maple, thank you for the follow. It is empowering, and honestly, it's an exercise in something we already have, our minds. We are hardwired as storytellers. You can argue it's our opposable thumbs. The gift that we have that no other animal has is the ability to tell a story. The ability to say something that can alter reality for another being. Because they can entertain something that has or has not happened. Or can entertain that something that has happened has not happened. To try and convince themselves otherwise. This is our gift. If you want to say through the cold hand of science, and it's pure evolution, fine. Do you want to say it's divine providence and it was guided, carefully through an act of creation, or you want to blend the two and say it was a watchmaker, someone who set the gears in motion then just stepped aside? Whatever your philosophy, it's undoubtable that we have it. That is why this hobby appeals to so many people from any culture. We all have stories. We have religions. We have philosophies. We have things that happen personally to us. We have histories of our cities, our states, our countries. The history of the world, part 1. There's a movie. Go and watch it. Enjoy it. Just don't expect a part 2. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So we all have this inborn ability to tell a story. And when you step up, Zen, when you do that, you are embracing humanity. No matter where the humanity is from. You are embracing humanity and who you are. Unless you're a dog. For all we know, look, on the internet, no one knows that you're a dog. So you can explore these ideas and have a blast, and it's also social. Whether through technology, and we're speaking through cameras and microphones, or heads up at a table, and you all are sharing some Thai food together. See, so Chaos, you're developing this story. You're starting with an element, and you want to find ways to grow it. It's all a part of the process. Yes, we are all of the dog collective. Absolutely true. We're the only living beings who tell stories, and quite honestly, being a DM is the closest thing still left to a very natural instinct of verbal storytelling. Cavemen, genuine medieval bards, centuries ago, even less than 100. Zen, yes. It is a primal, arguably a sacred right as an RIGHT or an RITE as a practice that we have. Well, Maple, the rules will come to you. Do not feel that you have to learn every single rule. I've been DMing for a long time. I couldn't tell you all the rules, and I mess up at times. I have my players correct me, or I say, hold on, let me look in the book, because I'm not sure how this is going to happen. Don't let the rules get in the way of your story, because ultimately it is your story you're sharing with your friends and family. You know, just like the famous Mark Twain quote, don't let classes get in the way of your education. Well, you could take that in a lot of directions, Pie Guy. I mean, because satyrs are known to, cavort and prance and play an instrument. You could say bard. You could say rogue because they could be sneaky and lead you into the woods. You could say ranger, even for the same reason. I mean, I could make an argument for all 13 of the classes if you wanted, Pie Guy. So it would really come down to what would you like that satyr to represent or to do or to focus. Felt like all session he was trying to TPK us for no reason other than because we weren't following his story to a T. So it was a DM that was running a novel. I'm sorry that you had to experience that, Chaos. And you know what? If you are willing to talk about it more, share your experience so we know what to look for. And even for those of us who have experienced it before, we can either commiserate, give you solid advice, or honestly, sometimes, Chaos, it feels good to vent. Get your story out there. Yep, rule of cool. Yep, boo of that guy. Boo, boo. The DM of putrescence. In fact, I'll tell you what, Maple, with your help, you may not have been here for the prior workshops. With your help, I would love to, I'd love to make an NPC. And we're going to make an NPC that even I don't know about, but is going to be a loving, living part of the world that we're building for this role-playing exercise. And so, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to crack open our Dungeon Master's guides. We're going to go to Chapter 4, creating non-player characters. And through this worksheet, we're going to make an NPC. And we're not even going to talk stats. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the spells. We're still going to make a compelling NPC from random prompts. And I want you to experience this process. And let me make sure that someone hasn't spent some inspiration to get the first roll here. The Spectre, are you still here? If not, then I'll tell you what we'll do. Is Maple, we'll give you first crack at Math Rock Spot, and you're going to get us going on this NPC. Oh, yeah, please let it energize you, Zen. And even if you feel baffled at times, let that energize you. It's a problem that's searching for a solution that you can overcome, that will challenge you and to help you grow. All right, Maple. Here we go. I would like you to type into chat !roll, R-O-L-L, space 1D20. 1D20. You rolled an 8. Our NPC is missing fingers. Isn't it cathartic, Pie Guy? Alright, next up. Zen, Will you please type exclamation point roll space 2d6? A 4 and a 5. This NPC has a high attribute of intelligence, but a low attribute of wisdom. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't matter what the score is. If our highest is intelligence, that could be a 10, and everything else are 7s. It could be a 20, and our wisdom is a 4. All we know is that we have someone with a high intelligence, studious, learned, inquisitive, though a low wisdom, which would indicate someone who might be oblivious or absent-minded. Exactly. Book smart, not too much common sense. The nutty professor, super smart, not very aware. And this person's missing fingers. Could there be a connection? Let's find out. Let's keep going. Rianne, would you please get in on this and give me a D20 roll? Exclamation point roll space 1d20. What is a talent that this NPC has? In Chaos, I'll call on you next. Oh, you actually have to write out roll. Exclamation point roll, R-O-L-L, space 1d20. Yes, Chaos. Yeah, that is a tried and true, the description of the abilities. We create PCs, NPCs, villains. We create settings using this same methodology and approach, Pie Guy. Oh, Rian, you gotta have a space after roll. Exclamation point roll, space, 1d20. The missing fingers could tie into the low wisdom. You see, look, we only have a couple randomized points, and we're already beginning to create a story. Do we know the character's race? No. Do we know the character's gender? Nope. Doesn't matter. You could be a Goliath, a male Goliath barbarian, and this applies as if you were a halfling wizard. A female halfling wizard. This is thematic storytelling. It is universal. Oh, there we go. We rolled a 12. No, you're fine, Rianne. Don't worry about it. Sings beautifully. Our talent, this NPC, sings beautifully. And I wonder what he or she sings. Yeah, communication with the DM is key. That's a primary rule. Now there's a mannerism. This NPC has a mannerism, a way that perhaps they express themselves. And so, Chaos, would you please type exclamation point roll space 1d20 and let us know the mannerism this NPC has. Rolled a 17. Ah, this person paces. Paces. You could pace for many reasons. But if you're a DM, you're describing the NPC, you see so-and-so pacing back and forth. Even while singing. It doesn't have to be quiet and contemplative. It could. It could be pacing back and forth and singing at the same time. Could be nervousness. Let's find out. How does this NPC interact with other people? Just otherness. Will you please give me a D12 roll in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1D12. And then schnizzerific, I would like you to, ooh, pardon me. Who knew soda makes you burp? That's dumb. There's no warning label. 8. Hot-tempered. So you know what? Maybe we're pacing because we're anxious or we're angry. We are hot-tempered when we interact with others. Maybe not everyone, but that could be our reputation, is that many other people, maybe because they're not as intelligent as us. Who knows? Well, we don't even know. We're going to find out. Trust ourselves. For all of you that are new here, we have an expression. It goes, it writes itself. We even have an emote, capital M, lowercase IWI. We have OWOs and UWOs. Well, here we have EWEs. All right, so schnizzerific, will you please type exclamation point roll space 2D6? Pacing back and forth, still trying to win back an argument they lost 20 years ago. Shade Mage, that could be the case too. 1 and 2. So we have a good ideal about charity. Huh. We believe in giving back to people. We believe in giving back to society or to particular charity as an institution. Maybe that could help explain why we're hot-tempered. We're worried about numbers and figures. We're worried about expenditures. Well, hey, Maple, that could end up being the case. I love the way you're thinking, and we might end up with that. Now, useful knowledge, that's a black box. You as a DM are going to supply any information that you want the party to know through any NPC that you think is appropriate. I put that there so at least we understand and we check that, or if we do an exercise where we want to list it specifically, we can. Now, we have a bond to the world in some form. Raven, will you please roll a D10 in chat to let us know our bond to the world, to the region, to something or someone? Exclamation point roll space 1D10. Yeah, Chaos. So we would be building culture in that case. Even if we were reformed, I mean, just because you're reformed up here doesn't mean you get your fingers back. All right, you roll a 9. Oh, we're out for revenge. We are out for revenge. Something happened. Something happened. It could be against who took his fingers. And lastly, there is some kind of a flaw or a secret. Now, this is in general character building. We're not perfect people. And by the way, everyone out there, I absolve you of not being a perfect person. It's okay to not be perfect. As IRL us, let alone as our characters or NPCs. And just like against, anyone out there, why does blackmail exist? There is something that you might be able to find out as a character about an NPC that could lead to story or leverage or a whole host of things. And so, Pie Guy, will you please roll a D12 in chat and let us know the flaw or the secret? This may be our party's best friend. There may still be something out there that maybe our party doesn't know immediately, but we as the DM do and can weave it into our tale. You roll an 11. Possession of forbidden lore. Possession of forbidden lore. Now, with just this, we have a character. We have a fully functional NPC a fully functional NPC in your story. And do we care about a strength score? Do we care about, should I go with a rapier or a short sword? No, Maple, you're fine. The bot gets a little fidgety. Don't worry about it. No, we have a compelling part of our story. In fact, we have just created culture. We've created history. We have created a representation of so many different things in society by one character. We don't even know, do we have a Kenku? We ask the old Professor Oak question, are you a boy or a girl? At this point, it doesn't matter. Our character, regardless of that, is this. Has manifested for years as this. Has come to this point. Maybe he stole some forbidden tomes for a group and lost his fingers in the process. Was the 8 supposed to be for useful knowledge? The 8 on... The 8 for what? If it was on the D12... It was that we were hot-tempered for our interactions with others. So would now be a good time for my experience with the DM? If you'd like to share it, Chaos, you're welcome to do so. Just because I'm talking doesn't mean you still can't seek input or share your story. Turns out the Forbidden Tome was actually a mimic he planted and lost their fingers in the process. Oh. Now, what I can bring up with you all, is this. And for any of you who have not been around for the other exercises, I would like to show you how this very easy interaction can fit into whatever story that you have. Here is a relationship map that we made for the party. Can you see anywhere? And not everything is labeled, and that's fine because this was an exercise. Can you see anywhere here that this NPC that we made in a vacuum would fit into a world that created, or I guess created, but retroactively was created by our 4 friends or family members that wanted to play D&D with us? And we took this information directly from their character sheet, indicating that they loved these prompts, that they wanted to have these sort of developments. Do you see anything here from those completely random prompts where this NPC might have a connection with someone else? With one or more, even. Could be the circus. Especially because the circus is another name for the Rakdos cult. Because it was... the background that this character had was an Is-It engineer. But we're not basing this in Ravnica. So we took a basic concept of a of a circus and applied it. What about, if I may, what is Feather's ideal? And I would also like to point this out too. Let's zoom in. Feathers believes in charity as an ideal. As well, Feathers will someday get revenge on the corrupt temple hierarchy who branded me a heretic. And if I may also submit to the court, Framelda. Framelda also, for the same reasons, is also going out after this corrupt temple hierarchy. Her name came about because she is an ancient turtle. She's 54 years old and like near the end of her natural life, at least normally. However, she was randomly rolled to be a shadow sorcerer, and shadow sorcery does interesting things to your body. And so, as a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, chat that evening recommended that her name is Framelda Hyde because she has been preserved and just can't seem to die. Yes, they are official. I mean, it is an official Magic Dungeons and Dragons printed book. We also have someone who seeks sacred texts, or the thing that was taken could be the truth. You know, the possession of forbidden lore. When we were going through this exercise, it was stated that they're the ones who actually want to bring down the hierarchy because the hierarchy has been corrupted, which might mean that they have these sacred truths. And something happened to this NPC. So if you all do you see how it writes itself? And all of this happened. What is? I'm on a rolly pad, so I think it's. There we go. From an exercise we did last week, this NPC fits perfectly. And now if you wish to do so, I can make a recommendation. If you want to know the occupation and history, and maybe you don't know, maybe you want to leave it to chance. You know, or you do, yeah, I know perfectly where this person's going to fit in. You can fill that in. Because the face symbol could be like Helm's, where it has to be indicated with a hand symbol. So to desecrate it, there go the fingers. Maple, we could build the world to be exactly that. It could very well be that. If these ideas are coming to mind, whether or not you use them, if you're a dungeon master, write them out. Even write them as questions to yourself and come back after you've thought about it, after you've had a lunch on it, or whatever. These are all excellent proposals to build the world that you want to run, so that it's not just, you know, it's not just another, well, I'm comfortable with a Western European fantasy setting, or I'm comfortable with a desert, you know, kind of Egyptian setting, or it doesn't turn into I'm running Lord of the Rings. And I'm not saying that's bad to do, Though many people might feel aggravated after a while because they want something that feels more that it's theirs and not just, you know, a direct inspiration from something else that they've seen. Whether it's a comic, it's an anime, it's classic literature. And now what we can do, because we've already talked about the concepts of this NPC, we can stop here. If you didn't, I want to show you another part to this exercise. And well, Maple, if you go and watch how we make PCs, I think you'll appreciate our system for it. Occupation and history. Now that we know the broad details of this character, let's find out some specifics. Let's bring into focus some more about this NPC as an optional step. And to do that, we're actually going to be going to our character creator guide. Yeah, I mean, even 3-wise will take you pretty deep, let alone 7. But 7 will get you there. Absolutely. Hark, are you Hark, you're still hanging out, right? Because you reserved a role. And who else do we have that reserved a role here? Chill Panda ended up leaving for the evening. And the Spectre has also taken off. So I have Raz for background and Hark to roll race. So now what we're going to do, let's go through the process. Maple, would you please roll a D100 in chat? Now, if we want to consider multi-class, sure. We can use this same screen that you see here. 76, so we have a male character. Now, for the race, we had a special consideration because we didn't have humans and dwarves. We determined that there are 6 animalistic races that exist here, and these are the ones that I highlighted. So next up, Syart, good morning and welcome back. Syart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, hang on. Did we have someone for race? Hark, I'm sorry. Hark, I want you to roll a D6, please. And Neo Roms is here too. For real. For realsies. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Race number 40. Oh, is a siren. Okay. So we have a male siren. Agent of Chaos. Or here, how about this? Hark. Hark. What happens in this channel? What happens here? It's creepy. It writes itself, everyone. The story writes itself, and we don't have to sit here and take Tylenol and agonize and worry. The story writes itself. Now, Neo Realms, will you please roll a D100 in chat by typing !roll space 1D100. Rolled an 80. So we have a neutral evil. And you might say, whoa, 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 hold up. I thought we weren't making a villain. I thought we weren't making a villain. He has a good ideal of charity. How in Rootin' Tootin' Tarnation are you going to square that circle? We have someone. Hey, Mendari. Welcome. How do you have a neutral evil character that has an ideal of charity? He might, yeah. Just because he's selfish doesn't mean... Look, if you're evil, that does not mean you have to kick every puppy in the street and burn down every orphanage that you come across. Evil, you are prioritizing yourself over others. Your ideals are superior to others. Having an idea of charity, I mean, if you're a bandit and you murder people on the highway, but you give that money to the church, you have murdered people, you have ended lives, innocent lives even, in order to provide charity, because your ideal was superior and, any other cost. We don't even need to take it to murder. It just simply means you prioritize yourself. If people ask for help, if you are not in it, you're going to tell them no. If it doesn't conform to the plan that you have, you'll most likely say no. Or you'll ask for a high fee, or you'll do all of this. It is absolutely fine to have a good ideal of charity, but be a selfish person. Now, character level, not worried about it. Are we taking ASIs or feats? Not worried about it. Hey, James. Now, for the background, Raz, will you please roll a 78-sided die to let us know the background of this character? Yeah, and Pneumonica, those are excellent prompts as well. And Galgren maybe uses the charity to expand his influence to get what he's after. The charity might be, it could still have a societal benefit, but he could be using it for selfish reasons. Because, look, the Penguin wanted to donate to be the mayor of Gotham. But he donated a bunch, and people are like, oh, wow, that's so, such a philanthropist, and we're not going to look any deeper than that. Meanwhile, he's leveraging the charity. Yeah, the charity does good. He had a troubled childhood. He wants to help orphans or whatever. But he's also going to use that to be mayor. And you rolled a 17. So our occupation and backgrounds are beautiful for that. Your occupation, your background, it's what you did before adventuring, or even while you're still adventuring. It was your first job. It's a hobby. It's something you picked up along the way that's a formative part of who you are. And so we represent occupation by background. And Raz gave us number 17. Oh, a cloistered scholar. Hey. Maple, what's the phrase? What is the phrase here? That was the settlement. It writes itself. And in fact, let's see how far the rabbit hole goes, shall we? Cloistered Scholar. Cloistered Scholars from the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. It has details, but it is based on the Sage background in Chapter 4. What kind of what did we study? What might have heightened a particular ideal or embittered us to the world in some way? So crack open your player's handbooks. Let's find out. What does this character do? There's a specialty here. Mendari, would you please roll a D8 in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1D8. Two, an astronomer. We study the stars. If you want this to be an astrologer instead, depending, hey, that's your discretion. You still have the core You have a core concept. Now I wonder if this is still in the works. We have someone who reads the stars. We have someone who perhaps sees omens. Well, we have two characters that see omens in everything. I'm not sure what that word is, Maple. Agent of Chaos. That may be exactly it. Because in character creation and the party reconciliation, the conundrum of an invention, and here, I'll bring it up again. Do you all want to see how this ties into even randomly rolled characters? Maybe I'll spoop you with this. Maybe I will spoop you. Because we have our Is It engineer. We are after secrets of the multiverse. We also are looking to build an invention that is going to lead to a new world, a new way of thinking. We also have someone who stays up all night. Who stays up all night to invent and to observe. These were randomly generated. Do you see how this is coming together? Oh, Maple, thank you. We have an astronomer. Now, what else? What else can we determine about the character? What is the methodology that this NPC uses to manifest his will into the world? And when I say that, the manifestation of will, that, I mean, we could reduce that and just say class. What is the class of the character? If we get Barbarian, this can still absolutely work. And maybe as soon as I say that, if we do get Barbarian, then you might know how that can manifest. And so what we're going to do is I would like Pneumonica, or actually, hang on, okay, I didn't have anyone rolling for class. Pneumonica, will you please roll a 13-sided die in chat and let us know what is the particular set of skills this Liam Neeson's, though, has in order to manifest his will into the world. What is his methodology? We got a 12. We have a warlock. A warlock that studies the stars. Now, as a warlock, Well, Maple, let's find out. Maple, would you kindly roll a d6 in chat to let us know what kind of influence our friend is under? Who is influencing our friend of the party? 5. We have a hex blade. I wonder. Oh, I wonder who. Who wrote the Forbidden Book of Lore? And on top of that, we have 3 pacts. And, Shield Mage, will you please roll a d3 in chat? He doesn't have to be missing all his fingers. You're correct. Yes, Shade Mage, can you please type exclamation point roll space 1d3? A chain hex blade. We get a little buddy that helps us out. We get a manifestation of our patron, if we so choose. We get someone who can get in, get out, and get information. We may also have an imp that ate our fingers, if other proposals didn't work, or you like something better. We have someone who can manifest these weapons. We have someone who can manifest creatures. And from here, if you wanted to fill in exact things like height and weight, I mean, we could come down to Siren and alphabetical. You know, there's the Siren table. But here we go. Here we have an NPC. It is an NPC. We can have this character do what we want. And if you wanted to fill in any of this yourself, you could have stopped. We just took this to the extreme where everything was left randomized. But now we have a character. Our character roller has information on heights and weights and age ranges and all this stuff. And then we can, you know, depending if you say, nah, we're just going to play with, we're just going to play PHB only. Well, there you go. You turn off those options. Or you turn on and off whatever options you're playing with, or that you want to create a character using. Now what I want to do, I want to take you through a similar process, though instead of focusing on the broad idea first, does it work the other way around? Do you feel inspired if we start with the minutia and then we tack on as we build this character's story the other way? And you'll be the judge of it. We're going to do this. We're going to get her done. Our second NPC, right up here. We're going to start right here. Agent of Chaos, will you please roll a D100 in chat? $37. All right, we have a female character. Raz wants background. All right. Mendari, will you please roll a 6-sided die to give us our race? Exclamation point roll space 1d6. And I say 6 because the world that we created only has these 6 races in it. You roll a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another siren. So now what this is indicating to us as the DM, sirens which are not a part. Look, we have centaurs and kenku are the dominant and minority race in the region we're focusing on, but we know that these avian races are out there, perhaps in another province. We have these outsiders that are integrated with the party, and of course 2 of them have been exiled for being heretics, according to the local religion. So we have 2 sirens, a female siren, and Ravenstar, will you roll a D100? Maybe they're married. Maybe they're married. Maybe they're related. Maybe they're just friends. They could be just separate people from the same Aven society, one kingdom over. $49. We have a true neutral character. Neutral female siren. Not worried about the level. I don't care about ASIs and feats. Now for the background. Raz, you wanted to roll this. Give me a 78-sided die, please. Could be. I guess we'll find out more here soon. Rolled an 11. A caravan specialist. Oh, that's our villain worksheet.
Sound a feasting horn.
All right, now, does a caravan specialist have any particular specialties? I'm not sure. That's in the Adventurers League. Supplement. Let me see. Just the standard personality trait. We would get a feature of being a wagon master or something. Oh, sure, no problem, Mandari. Thank you for stopping by. You're used to life on the road. You pride yourself at having traveled to every major tradeway. And of course, you know, we're not playing the Forgotten Realms, so we can replace Moonsea with something else. When traveling these roads, you know where the best inns, campsites, and water sources are located, etc. So there we go. We're building a character one step at a time. Now, how does our character express herself? And so we have... let's see. Just Otherness, are you still here? If so, can you roll a 13-sided die? We may not have just otherness with us. I'll tell you what, Maple G, will you please roll a 13-sided die? Oh, all right. Hey, there's just otherness. You rolled a 1. We rolled... All right, so an artificer. And as an artificer, well, you're not off the hook yet, Maple. I want you to roll a D3. What kind of an artificer do we have? Our caravan specialist is a... No, you're fine, Maple. Sometimes it might take a little bit, or someone's like, oh, I heard my name, and I come back to it. We have an alchemist. Okay. Someone who travels, gets ingredients from all over. And from here as well, you know, something that we could have done otherwise. Why don't we roll it? Hark. Hark, can you roll 2D100? And the first roll is for our first NPC. The second roll is for our second NPC. We can go back and add at least an age category, if not a specific age. Well, Maple, the world can be what we want to detail it. If you think it makes sense, because the world would have created this character. This character, therefore, is a result of the world. What conditions are needed that you come up with as the DM that would satisfy the solution that you have? Like, you're actually solving for the problem from the solution. And you know what? If that works for your story, Maple, can you emphatically tell a story with that as your prompt? And if so, that is your story. And you should run that story at your table. Hark may not be here. Who else do we have? Do we have, Shade Mage? Will you please give me a 2D100 roll? (24 and 26), they are both young adults. Both of them are young adults. They could be siblings. If you want them to be siblings, absolutely. They could be co-workers. And you know what? If we didn't know and we wanted a clue, do stuff like roll for age. I mean, if you want to be like super specific, then we could just roll the young adult age range for a siren is 1d6 plus 10. Oh, Zen, you're locking in talent? Okay. She's also a tinkerer. She could have invented a telescope that he then gazed into the stars. Whoa, hey, funny man. Hey, you're very welcome. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to the last set of things that you had sent to me for a review. I have been, especially with what I've had to do to the store, I have not had the time to sit down and to type it all out for you. But you're very welcome, and I look forward to continuing to answer questions that you may have. Exactly. This could be indicative that the sirens, in their own ways, are moving in. Something could be happening. There could be a migration. I don't know why you wouldn't be, Agent. You're engaging in chat, so it should monitor that you're actively participating in the window. Okay. So we have a young adult, neutral female siren artificer alchemist, who's a caravan specialist, a transporter, someone who can get things to people. Now, we have this as a basis. We're asking ourselves questions. We have prompts. This is in your DM notebook. You have a bunch of question marks. Could be this. Could be this. Could be this. Chaos, you've been throwing out a lot of good possibilities. Maple, others. Great stuff. Now let's cap off this NPC. What is the NPC's appearance? We're going to scroll back up. And I would like a D20 roll. All right. Raven's locking in the mannerism. Chaos, will you give me a D20 roll, please? We have this vague outline of a person, and now let's add some more detail. 10. Tattoos. Now, interestingly enough, I mean, sirens have, you know, fleshy humanoid faces. Though, how would we want to... Would tattoos be, if you have wings and feathers? Could a tattoo be injecting ink into your pinions to dye your feathers? And if so, does she have dyed feathers? Or does she have tattoos on her fleshy bits? Let's world build. Let's consider this stuff. And hello, Mr. Enfer. Now, Mr. Enfer, I would like you to roll 2d6, please. Exclamation point roll space 2d6. Two and a 3. High dexterity, low constitution. She's lithe, agile, graceful, but she tends to be sickly or pale. Is that a result of her alchemical experiments, or did she study alchemy so she can make medicine for herself because she suffers from some kind of an illness? Whether it's allergies, asthma, it could be something greater. It could be a greater illness, and she's just in a managed decline. This NPC could end up just dying naturally over the course of the adventure. You know, so she's traveling everywhere to try and find a cure. Or she could just be frail and skinny. You're absolutely correct. You know, so we have a siren version of Ed from Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, and maybe, you know, if we believe in charity and helping other people, this NPC that has selfish goals might steal from others in order to help cure, if not like a sister by blood, then a sister by whatever. Let's come up with a cultural term. A sister by clutch, if we're talking sirens, and that's even if we want our sirens to lay eggs. Maybe our sirens give live birth. I don't know. What do you want them to do? This is our world to think about. You know, what is their society like? It's going to have differences than the one we're building for centaurs and Kenku. And also, the Kenku, how do they interact with the fact we have two flying races, but the Kenku live with the terrestrials in this next place over? Now, Zen, you wanted to roll for the talent. Zen, please give me a D20 roll. And then Raven, I would like you to also give me a D20 roll, as we're going to determine the talent and the mannerism. Exclamation point roll space 1d20. Now, our little caravanning alchemist here. Ideal is not yet taken. Zen, you need roll. Exclamation point roll, ROLL space 1d20. Eight and 8. So we are great at one game. What game does she play? Great at one game. Something methodical like chess or checkers? Something random like dice? Maybe a little bit of both, like a poker or a card game? If you want the game to be tarot, I could see that interpreted as such. When she plays doctor, she plays to win. And the mannerism was also rolled as an 8, which is uses flowery speech or long words. Well, if she's playing doctor, she certainly, she certainly knows her biology. So she uses purdy words. And you as a dungeon master, have you already thought how you would introduce this character? Maybe the verbiage that she uses when she meets the player characters? Have you thought about how you want to describe this character? Fitting for an alchemist. Yeah, so I'm going to pour the all these scientific terms, and she knows them by heart. She studied them. They might be preserving her heart if she has a weak constitution. And if she's a young adult, she might be saying it to kind of show off or to try and be like, well, you know what? I'm smart. Maybe she's 16. That falls in the range. But she wants to win the business, the mentorship or something of adults or other practiced doctors or other alchemists, however you want, of other scientists. And so she uses the language, even though she's a young person. Yeah, there you go, Chaos. Yeah, an oxymoron, by the way, wonderful name. Yeah, she's great at a game. Scrabble, trivia, yeah. And you know what? As a dungeon master, because, again, this is an exercise for the meta roleplay of being a DM. If we're great at one game and we want to build the world, why not play a game of Scrabble at your table? Or play a trivia game that you as a DM went to the side and you're using that as a way to introduce aspects of the world to your players to immerse them. And here's a fun thing. Let's say that you do that. If we go with Oxymoron's idea, and let's say that you hand out a trivia card to your player, because you don't know, but don't tell them this as the dungeon master. And the trivia card says, the name of the sea to the west, and you put down 4 choices, and your player would look at them, might say, I don't know, and you say, let's play the game. What is the name of the sea to the west? And they look at the 4 choices, and they say, oh, it's lead bulb. Well, congratulations. That is correct. The Sea of Lead Bulb is to the west. And your players helped you out with that. And you're building the world together through this fun little exercise of storytelling and immersion in the world. And if you're ever not sure about where you can get the name of something, where did I get lead bulb from, huh? Well, there we go. That's where I got it. Right? Can you imagine? Now, I know this is weird for a game, but let's say that the party just sort of wakes up on a wagon, and this alchemist wagoneer says, "Oh, you're awake." Oh no, Drizzkill got nuked by the bot. But yeah, you can introduce the world. You can introduce the world through that game, through a game of Scrabble, through a game of trivia. Absolutely. Now, what about how does she interact with other people? Drizzkill, I would like you to type !roll space 1d12. That's what you get for being too loud. Participation and a fine welcome. Now face your punishment. You rolled a 3. She's blustering. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's blustering. Well, you see the beaker, you had the confabulation of the and she's okay, so well we do this, well I just yeah, so well she blusters. Are you getting a better picture as a DM? Are you becoming more comfortable with presenting this NPC to the players? You're getting to know her as well. Or she might even mutter. She might mutter. All right, now, Chaos had asked to roll 2d6 for her ideal, and so I would like you to roll 2d6, Chaos, and let us know her ideal. Yeah, maybe alchemy just gets her too overexcited, and she just goes, Rah! 5 and a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has a neutral ideal of live and let live. Live and let live. You know, she wanders. She collects things. She engages in alchemical practices. She studies. How did I do what, Maple? Five and 3. So Agent of Chaos rolled 2d6. And so good ideal is 1, evil ideal is 2, lawful 3, chaotic 4, neutral ideal was 5, and then the other d6 was number 3, and so I went 1, 2, 3 to live and let live. Yeah, we just found a coordinate on the graph. Yep, no problem. Hey, you gotta ask questions to learn, right? And if I went too quickly, then that's my fault. Now she needs a bond of some kind to the world, if we don't already have one for her. And so who do we have hanging out? All right, Shade Mage, will you please roll a d10 in chat? And then Mr. Enfer, I would, or actually, wait, did I have you roll yet? No, I don't think that I did, Mr. Enfer. You rolled a 7, protective of a sentimental keepsake. Protective of a sentimental keepsake. And Mr. Enfer, will you please roll a d12 in chat? Could be an avian trait. Some birds are protective about shiny things. Grimdrak, hello, welcome. Oh, we might have lost Mr. Enfer. I didn't see him in chat. Just in case, Oxymoron, will you roll a d12 in chat? Exclamation point roll space 1d12. And yeah, Maple, that could be it. All right, Oxy rolls a 10. A secret crime or misdeed. Uh-oh. Are our sirens actually magpies in some way? If the Kenku have their thing, could this be a cultural, something cultural for the sirens? A secret crime or misdeed? Or did we steal? Or was our secret crime or misdeed to assist the other NPC in the retrieval of that book? Wait, Maple's like, I want war criminals. Hey, Maple, you have war criminals. In a sense, Grim, we don't know what we're detailing a game, but it's details about something that has been completely randomly generated as an exercise in getting us to open up our minds, to overcome perhaps some some biases we have, or comfort zones to, prod us to leave them, as we have some interesting prompts that we're trying to connect the dots in a very fun way to create an interesting world, to challenge ourselves to think about these characters. And these are all exercises to empower yourself as a dungeon master, or even you could take these same concepts as a player, and you can try and build a completely randomized character one step at a time and come up with something maybe you never thought you'd run before, but you feel super, like, just, you're in the zone with this character. Which could tie into the patron. It writes itself, Maple. Because we're taking it one step at a time, we're building one layer to the story, and with your own experiences and comforts and your own thoughts, that you can take these prompts and insinuate them into a narrative or into a story in some way. You found this comfort zone that is going to allow you to present to your friends or family sitting at your table and tell an amazing tale that is not just going to be, an anime you saw or a comic you read, or you watch Lord of the Rings and you're like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want to run Lord of the Rings. Well, now we have a world filled with Kenku and sirens and turtles and centaurs. Yeah, it's public. Maple, if you go to our Discord, whenever we make documents like this, at the end of the week, I upload it to our Discord, so anyone, you don't have to be a subscriber or even a follower, you just have to be on our Discord. Anyone can download it, because I want you to be empowered. Now, you'd have to go through and delete what we have filled in, but then save it for yourself and use this as practice. This is open. The only thing that's not is the character builder that you saw. That's proprietary and still a work in progress for the channel. So yeah, you're thinking that Chain Pact is the mother's spirit. So the creature that manifests is a bound spirit. No, Chaos, and that's the beauty. We all have gotten the same prompts. We may take it in different directions, and all of us are still going to present this story with a level of enthusiasm commensurate to our interest in our delivery. And thank you for the follow. Is this Jamal or Jamala? And if it's Jamal, it's a Turiana, or if it's Jamala, it's Turiana. Let me know how you want me to pronounce your name, please. And Grim, no, I mean, what is, if that's the story you want to tell, and I mean, we're constraining ourselves purposely to the random prompts, but the whole exercise is a way to get us to open up our minds and to explore concepts maybe we never have before. I don't know then when you buffered or what you missed, Chaos. If you want to re-ask your question, I'll answer it. Maple, it writes itself. It absolutely does. And this is why storytelling, you could use this to write a novel. You know, if you don't want to run D&D or whatever else, use this to write a novel you've always wanted to. Use it to make a submission for NaNoWriMo this November. You can. It still applies. And look, we've been laughing the whole time. We've been talking about anime. We've been talking about war crimes. We've been talking about all sorts of stuff. This has been super casual. We haven't been, this is impossible. This is terrible. I have writer's block. The entire time has been the opposite of writer's block. And Grim, thank you for the follow as well. We have only had ideas pouring out of our brain, connections, world building. This frees you from so many other things, from these comfort zones, from the things that you're familiar with that we always seem to default to. Maple, I'm glad, and I hope it brings you success. Success is not a zero-sum game. You know what? And if one of you comes, if you use this and you write a book and you make $11 billion because you write the next big hit or whatever, I would love for you to return to the channel one day and say, thank you. I love the lesson, and you know, while I did things in my own tuning, I was happy to have been a part of some rando stream during a plague in the middle of March in 2020. And thanks to inspiration and breaking writer's block and, to the community and everything, I went on to make $11 billion. And I will be so happy for you. 11 billions. Exactly, Shade. Back when everyone was locked down due to the virus. I'm sorry, the topic's been moving. I know we were talking about like writer's block or feeling, maybe trapped in our own ideas. Oh, you're at work right now. Well, shh. Nope. No one tell Maple's supervisor. Unless Maple is the supervisor, in which case... Oh! It's good to be the king. There we go. So, ta-da! We did it, everyone!